Good morning. I want us to go through the areas that we have gotten where we expect an exam to be tested from, and we are likely to have this map of Africa with the ocean currents. This is one of the areas that we expect an exam to be tested from, and they might be asking about the issue of the ocean currents, the warm and the cold currents. As you can see on my screen, we have a map of Africa drawn for the candidates and indicating the ocean currents that are likely to be tested in an exam. We have the ocean currents. We have they are classified into two. We have the warm currents and the cold currents. One of the feature of the warm currents, they originate from the equator. If you can see the Somali currents and the Mozambique currents, we can call the Mozambique or Agulhas currents. They originate from the equator. You can see how they are blowing from the equator to the northern part and to the southern part. So the warm currents originate from the equator. You can see what is happening here at Guinea. We have the warm Guinea currents. They come from the equator, some to the northern part and some to the southern part of the African continent. So the warm currents, one of the features why they are warm, they originate from the equator, and as we know that the equator is of the low altitude, and we have this says this that the lower you go, the hotter it becomes. So places of low altitude have warm climates, and that's why these ocean currents are warm. They originate from the equator. We have the cold currents. The cold currents, we have, as you can see, we have Benguela currents, and also we have what you call Canary currents at the northern part of Africa. The feature that makes the currents cold is that they originate from the poles. Origination from the poles means that they come from the south pole and the north pole. So the difference between the warm currents and the ocean and the cold currents, the warm currents originate from the equator and the cold currents originate from the poles of Africa, which I believe to be very cold since they are very far away from the equator. So we have two cold currents in Africa, Benguela currents and the Canary currents. The Benguela currents, they cause what you call fog and mist to the adjacent or to the coast region of Africa. In fact, a country like Namibia do experience dry conditions because of these coral currents. Number two, again, they help in the growing of planktons, the cold currents, planktons, that are especially the Benguela currents. The planktons, as we know, under the fish farming, planktons, this is food made for fish that grows in the ocean, in the ocean. So this map is likely to be tested in an exam as we prepare for the coming exams. Number two, another map is here. The map of winds in Africa, also held tested in an exam. We have the clue that one of the maps might be captured in an exam. So we have the ocean currents in Africa. No, the winds in Africa, and these winds, some of them are warm and wet or warm and moist, and some of them are dry. In fact, you can even see how the map is being drawn. We have the westerly winds here. The winds are classified again into two. We have the offshore winds and the onshore winds. The offshore winds, they blow from land to sea, and the onshore winds blows from sea to land. So the westerly winds, the northern part of Africa, we have a climate known as Mediterranean climate, and the northern part of Africa and the southern part of Africa. The climate in this part of Africa, the southern part of Africa and the northern part of Africa, do experience an amount of rainfall, high amount of rainfall due to westerly winds that brings rainfall from the Atlantic Ocean. They are the onshore winds. They blow from sea to land, so they carry what you call the moisture content on the way. Then also we have the southwesterly winds. Please let us be able to differentiate between the two currents. The northern side, these are the westerly winds. And I've seen it many times with some of the examiners, but I'm very sure that next will be very straightforward. Examiners, they do say that these are the northwesterly winds, the southwesterly winds. No, the southwesterly winds are down here. In fact, it brings rainfall to the DRC Congo, the Congo-Cameroon region. where we have the heavy forest in the region. So the westerly winds, they blow from the Atlantic Ocean to the African continent. They bring a lot of rainfall. Then we have the southwestern winds. Of course, they are warm and wet, or warm and moist. They're also warm and wet, warm and moist. Then we have Hamatan winds that blows along across the Sahara Desert. They are hot and dry. If they bring an X here asking the type of the winds in this region, these are the Hamilton winds. They are hot and dry. One feature why they are hot and dry: number one, they originate from land to sea. Number two, they blow on land for a long distance, and loses water on its way. We have also what you call northeast winds, northeast trade winds. You can see them here, the northeast trade winds. These winds also, they are hot and dry because they originate from Saudi Arabia, from another country, and that's why they're hot and dry. We have northeast monsoon winds in the northern, this part of Africa at this point here. They are warm and wet. But now the funny thing is that the warm and wet, these winds, they don't benefit the Somali continent, since the shape of the coastal region of this Somalia does not enable the region to receive amount of rainfall, though experiencing the warm and wet northeast monsoon winds. So the nature of coastline in Somalia makes this region not to receive a lot of rainfall, since the northeast monsoon winds, they blow parallel to the coastal region of Somalia. So the northeast winds, they are also dry. We have what you call the southeast monsoon winds. They are also warm and wet. They blow from the Indian Ocean into the land, so they bring a lot of rainfall, and of course they are warm and moist. So this map is highly tested in an exam, and I'm pleading to my learners that let us be more vigilant on how these questions are being brought to us. We are likely to have this map, and also what I've shown you about the ocean currents. They are being captured in any paper. We cannot miss these questions in any paper. The map number 2 that we have gotten an hint that it will be captured, we have this map here. This map in Africa indicates what we call the climatic zones in Africa. As you can see on my screen, we have the maroon one, sounds to be somewhat red. This is equatorial. This climate is highly tested in any paper. When this African map is being drawn, they must put this climate in the region. Why? This climate is somehow unique. In fact, it has so many characteristics, and also it will experience a lot of convectional rainfall. Then we have savanna, of course, the largest vegetation in Africa. We have savanna. Here. We have the savanna, you can see it. Savanna covers most part of Africa. It's under savanna. We have what we call semi-desert. The name is semi-desert, around the brown color, something like that. Then we have the yellow color. These are deserts. This is Sahara Desert, the largest desert that we have in Africa, and also we have some Namibia desert, the southern part of Africa. I want us to go through the features of equatorial so that we can know what is happening. You'll be asked maybe after drawing this map of Africa, they put an X somewhere, this climate. They ask you the characteristics of this climate. You must be able to answer it very well. And in fact, this is what we say. Characteristics of equatorial. The first thing we say that this region has a hot and wet climate simply because of low altitude. Places of low altitude always have a hot and wet climate, and the region is being it is closely by the equator. It is divided by the equator, so it's along the equator. So we say the region number 1, this region experiences what we call double maximal rainfall. So double maximal rainfall, we don't have any climatic region in Africa that experiences double maxima. When the word double maxima is being mentioned, just know that this is equatorial climate. That's where we have what we call the double maxima rainfall patterns. Therefore, we have what we call the 2 rainfall peaks. Number 2, we see that the most of the rainfall in the region are convectional rainfall, mainly falls in the afternoon. And this rainfall, in most cases, they are being accompanied with thunderstorm and lightning. And in fact, they can also ask about the issue of rainfall. When do we experience a lot of rainfall? We see that the highest amount of rainfall in this climate and equatorial, it is being experienced in the month of April to June, and another peak comes in September to October. So when we see that the two maximum rain, the double maximum rainfall patterns, therefore two rainfall peaks, the first peak comes in the month of April to June, and another peak comes in the month of September and October. There is something here. I have a certain drawing that is being drawn. We see that the month of April and June, we have a rainfall peak. You can see this April, in fact, from April to June, you can see a rainfall peak that comes in that region. Then also we have September, October. In fact, you can see September, October, we have another rainfall peak that are being experienced. So equatorial experiences two rainfall peaks from the April month to June, and from September to October. The rainfall, we see the temperatures are high throughout the year, an average of 25 degrees Celsius. You can see what is happening. An average of 25 degrees Celsius, the temperatures, and the rainfalls are very, very high. Then we have what you call the difference between the highest and lowest temperature in day, what we call the dual temperature range is very small. We have high humidity and there is no distinct dry season. This is what we call equatorial climate, highly tested, and it might be tested. It might be captured in an exam. Equatorial must be captured in an exam because they are most examiners. They are forecasted that we are going to have a question from equatorial vegetation. So my learners, listen to me. It's good that we prepare well enough. The number two, we have this climate known as savanna climate. It's somehow funny, not like equatorial. You can see they have different figures. Under what we call savanna, under equatorial, you can see the rainfall peaks. The first rainfall peak at the month of April to June, and another one September to October. But when you come to tropical or savanna vegetation, you can see how the climate is. Very high temperatures, so more than 25. In fact, they're saying that the temperature between 15 and 25. Then the rainfall, we have rainfall in the beginning of the year. The month of July and August, we have some dry season there. Then the rainfall continues. They are saying that the rainfall experiences. I want us to master this point. This point, the Roman number one is saying the region experiences a hot rain season and a cool dry season. A hot rain season and a cool dry season. This point must be captured well enough because it will be tested in an exam. The temperatures ranges between 15 to 25 degrees Celsius. The rainfall season is experienced in the zone northern of the equator, and the dry season is being experienced in the southern, and the similar. So it is vice versa. Then the rainfall climate is between 380 millimeters to 2,000. 380 millimeters during the dry season, and 2,000 millimeters during the, of course, the wet season. Then from there, we have a certain climate that we are likely to have come the end of this year. And I want us to be very much vigilant on what I'm going to explain here. And this climate is known as equatorial, not equatorial, Mediterranean. This climate under Mediterranean has a certain uniqueness in terms of how the climate is being drawn. These are the areas that we have gotten the hint that we are going to have this kind of questions comes the end of this year, in fact in the next 2-3 weeks. I want us to be on my screen so that we get something small here. If you can see, we have this climate. This is a Mediterranean climate. Then this one is also Mediterranean climate. You see the two different figures. This one is in terms of how it is being drawn. It is different from this one. So sometimes they might be drawing this one, then somebody answers a question from what you call savannah. In fact, savannah, the temperature was in between 15 and 25. And this one, you can see what is happening here. When the region experiences what winter, we have 10 degrees Celsius during winter and 25 during summer. The temperature range is 15. So I want us to go through this climate. They are saying that it is located in the northwestern and the southwestern tips of Africa. Of course, yes, the northern part of Africa and the southern part of Africa. The region experiences hot, dry summers, cool, wet winters. This also must be captured. The hot, dry summers, cool, wet winters. Highly tested. A rainfall between 750 millimeters and 1,000. It is experienced during winter and it is brought by the westerly winds. Of course, rainfall in Mediterranean climate is brought by the winter. The westerly winds that I have just shown you, the westerly winds are here. They are here. So this climate that we're discussing, it is found at this region known as the Mediterranean climate. We also have the southern part of Africa at this point, also the southwestern part of Africa, and also this region. So we say rainfalls in these climatic regions are brought by westerly winds. Of course, it's very true, very true, very true, very true. Now, the funny thing is, they are saying that the north experiences winter in the month of December. So, can you see here? This is the northern part of Africa, this climate known as Mediterranean. That during the December, the north experiences winter in the month of December. The northern part of Africa experiences winter in the month of December. Winter means what? Winter means rainfall. So you can see rainfall. Once you see this climate drawn like this, Mediterranean climate, then December and January we have rainfall. This climate belongs to the northern part of Africa. And also they are saying that summer, and we have summer in the month of December. No, it is here. What is happening here? This climate, we have rainfall in the month of December and January. Then June, July, August, we have summer. They are saying that the northern experiences winter in the month of December, and the summer in June. So this is winter, not this one here, this one here. This is what the southern part of Africa, this is the northern part of Africa, whereby we have rainfall, winter in the month of December, and it goes to January and February. Then the month of June, July, August, we have what we call summer. You can even see during June, in the summer, there is no rainfall. There is no rainfall in the month of June. Boys and girls listening and watching this clip, please, listen good to me. This question will be captured come the next 2 weeks from now. The northern experiences winter in the month of December. The north experiences winter in the month of December. You see, winter, month of December. Then summer in the month of June. You can see what is happening here. December there is rainfall. June there is no rainfall. This is the northern part of Africa. A climate in the northern part of Africa. Especially, which month? They are saying in the month of December. In the month of December. Then, the southern experiences winter in the month of June and the summer the month of December. Now, this is what you call the southern part of Africa climate. They are saying the southern experiences winter in the month of June. Are you seeing June? There is rainfall. Then December, the rainfall decreases. We say now this is summer. This is summer. Boys and girls, this climatic zone, this one belongs to Mediterranean climate. The southern part of Africa, of course, during the month of, the month of June, we have winter. Are you seeing rainfall? Yes. And the month of December, we have summer. Rainfall has decreased. But the northern part of Africa, during the month of December, we have winter. And the month of June, we have summer. Once again, the northern part of Africa, in the month of December, we have what you call winter, a lot of rainfall. The month of June, we have no rainfall, so it is summer. The southern part of Africa, during the month of June, we have what you call winter, enough rainfall. December, the rainfall has decreased. So this climate, boys and girls, is also highly tested, and we are likely to have these questions come Kcpe. Another region, we have what you call the sea breeze and the land breeze. We have the two climates. Of course, we have the sea breeze that occurs during the day, and we have the land breeze that occurs during the night. What I've told my learners to do, when they draw, you'll see I've added something. This paper was sent from somewhere, so that's why I'm trying to explain it. Because we're likely to have the sea breeze and the land breeze come the exam day, you can see the arrows come from the sea. The arrows comes from the sea, goes to the land. This is a sea breeze. And at this point here, the arrows comes from the land to the sea. This is what you call land breeze. I have given what you call the formula, because in this question, they will ask you, when do we experience this kind of convectional currents? And also, when do we experience this kind of convectional currents? I've given this formula. Please. Sedalani. Sedalani. Can you say so? Thank you. Sedalani, sea breeze during the day. Sea breeze during the day. And land breeze during the night. So Sedalani. Seda, sea breeze during the day. So these are sea breeze during the day. Lani, it is land breeze during the night. Are we together? Yes, of course. Another region that is highly tested, we have this kind of rainfall. Will be tested in an exam, this kind of rainfall. They are saying predicted diagrams and illustrations, convectional currents, and also we have what we call reef rainfall. Convectional currents, you can see the warm moisture from the sea. We have these winds that are warm from the sea. They condense once they reach at the land and they form rainfall. Now, the most point here, boys and girls, to master, it is this word. This is written land, and you can see this one is written what you call mountain. They can write mountain or highland. If they write highland, this is a relief rainfall that that we experience during on places of high altitude, and this is a sea breeze that we experience places near large water bodies. So they might ask you a simple question. Maybe, where do we experience this kind of rainfall in Kenya? This is another diagram. You can see areas on the windward side. These are areas receiving heavy rainfall. Example, you can see Meru, Thika, Kirinyaga, Kericho, Kisii, Murang'a, Nyeri, Embu, Kitale, Kiambu. These places, they do receive high amount of rainfall. So this is what you call a highland. A highland. In fact, boys and girls, there is a mistake somewhere here. This one was supposed to be written a mountain. Mountain or highland. Mountain or highland. Mountain or highland. So if they write land, regardless on how they have drawn, if they write land, these are places near large water bodies. Or if they write mountain, these are places of high altitude. And we say this land, this is a high land, high areas, high altitude areas. Then we have the Mount Kenya region in Kenya, and some parts of Ethiopia, the highlands, Mount Kenya region. The climate on the highlands is cool and wet. And this climate is best for crop growing. We have said here that the main economic activity carried out on this region highland is crop farming. You can also see what is happening here. We have best for crop growing. We have coffee, we have tea, and we have what you call bioerythrum. We have what you call bioerythrum. Another region that is highly tested that we have gotten a hint where we expect what you call to have questions from. We have what you call prehistorical sites in Africa. Prehistorical sites in Africa. The map of Eastern Africa showing prehistorical sites in Africa. We have these questions. A question must be captured from here. Apart from what we call the evolution theory, the Homo habilis, Homo erectus, Homo sapiens, we have a question from prehistorical sites. Which one are found in Kenya? In fact, in Uganda you can see Isimilia, we have Kondoa, we have Goch, we have Beninch, we have Olduvai, we have Lolui. Then we have what Lolui is found in Uganda near Lake Victoria. Then in Kenya we have Lusinga. Lusinga is found in Kisumu for Tenan near Kisumu in Karibu near Kericho County. We have Oregesaile, we have the Hirax Hill. Then we have Kopifora on the eastern side of Lake Turkana. Then we have Naikotome. There is a way they are arranged here. From Naikotome, we go to Elia Springs, we go to Kanapoi, we go to what you call Lothagam, we go to Chesowanja, Kariandusi, that way. So they can ask you, at this point, the far end near, remember this is Omo. This is what we call Omo Valley, is found in Ethiopia. In Kenya, we have Naikotome. The Naikotome, we have Elia Springs, we have what you call Kanapoi. These regions are tested. Master from Uganda also, Magosi, Ntusi, Ishango, Bigo, Sangobe, Songezi. Then we have Lolue. We go to Ethiopia. Axam, highly tested. Axam and Lalibera, highly tested. And Omo, Lalibera, Axam, found in Ethiopia, highly tested. We have Aral, and we have Dire, we have Dawa. Then we go to Sudan, Meroe, highly tested. Meroe and Amara. We have Amara, Dangola, we have Nuri, Meloe. Now, in fact, they are arranged in a certain way from the top. Then, these are areas, in fact, you can say Eritrea we don't have one in South Sudan, we don't have one in Djibouti, we don't have one in Somalia. But we have one in Kenya, Boni. Boni is found in Kenya, this is found here. This question is highly tested in an exam, boys and girls, so we must be well prepared on how to answer questions from what we call the prehistorical sites in Eastern Africa. Don't forget, master them where they are. From Uganda, we have Peninch, we have Olduvai Gorge, we have Kondoa, we have Isimila, we have Songomora Island down there. Then we have Kalambo near Lake Malawi. So please master these areas very well. Highly tested in any paper that we expect to have maybe in the near future. For those few remarks, I want us to wind us from there. Then we're going to meet later for another clip. Thank you very much.